Here are my recipes for how to make smooth buttercream cake frosting, both vanilla and chocolate flavored. I find it to be the ideal finishing medium for wedding cakes. It makes a beautiful blank canvas for any type of modeling chocolate or fondant design. It can also be used for decorative effects. It's especially good for piping. Since it has no lumps, it can be piped out of any sized tip. It may be tinted with food coloring, then used in all sorts of imaginative ways to render 3D cake effects. This is by far my favorite type of buttercream frosting. Now there are two pieces of equipment that are needed to execute these recipes. First, a standing mixer with a paddle attachment. Second, a food processor with a chopping blade. It also helps to own a scale for measuring the sugar, but that's optional. There are only 4 ingredients in the vanilla version of this buttercream recipe: whole milk, vanilla extract, softened butter, and powdered sugar. Begin by adding the vanilla to the milk. In this case, I'm using homemade vanilla extract made from leftover vanilla bean pods and bourbon. Weigh the powdered sugar out. This is the best way to get an accurate reading. Fit the paddle attachment into the stand mixer. Add the room temperature butter and mix it on low speed at first to break up the sticks. Increase to medium speed, then whip the butter for 10 to 30 seconds to soften it. At this stage, I'd suggest using a splatter guard if you happen to have one, as the sugar can be messy. Set the machine to low speed and add 2/3 of the powdered sugar, 1 scoop at a time. Add the milk and vanilla mixture. Add the last third of the powdered sugar. At this stage, the buttercream is still quite lumpy and grainy, so this is where the food processor comes into play. This works better if you only fill the food processor up halfway. First, I add half of the lumpy buttercream to the machine. Then I allow it to process for 1 to 5 minutes until smooth. At first, it's still quite choppy, but then it starts to flow faster. Before it's done, be sure to scrape down the sides of the bowl using a spatula. Wait for this kind of lump to fully process before turning the machine off. Now it's ready. No lumps. Make some room in the machine for the other half of the batch. Process the second half of the batch in the same way. It's best to store this buttercream at cool room temperature in a sealed container or a bowl covered with cling wrap. It will last for a week or more. For longer-term storage, I'd suggest keeping it in the refrigerator or freezer. The chocolate version of this buttercream involves following the same steps that were just shown, using a good quality cocoa powder and pinch of salt in place of some of the powdered sugar. To tint this kind of buttercream, use gel or liquid colors.